There are photographers who start with $5,000 in gear and fail, and there are photographers who start with under $2,000 and build a real business. I've seen it all happening. The difference isn't talent, it isn't the camera, it's how they spend their first dollars. And if you stick with me until the end, I have something special for you that ties all of this together. Welcome back. In episode 1, we covered the full landscape of starting a photography business. In episode 2, we tackled how to get your first clients without discounting yourself into poverty. And today we are breaking down the real costs, what you must spend, what you can postpone, and how to start lean without compromising your legal protection or professional credibility. Most photographers ask the wrong question about startup costs. They obsess over camera bodies and lenses while ignoring the legal structure, insurance, and systems that actually determine whether their business survives the first year. And I'll be honest, I was one of them 14 years ago when I started my photography business. The camera is not the business. The business is everything that happens before and after you press the shutter. The honest answer about startup cost ranges from $2,000 to $10,000, depending heavily on whether you already own gear. That range can feel discouraging or encouraging depending on your current situation. But the more important question is how to allocate whatever budget you have. I learned this the expensive way. My first year I spent heavily on gear and almost nothing on the infrastructure that would have protected me legally and financially, although I was lucky. This episode breaks down the actual cost of starting a photography business, separating essential expenses from optional upgrades. Whether you're launching in Los Angeles, where I'm based, or a small town in the Midwest, these fundamentals remain consistent. The costs that matter most have nothing to do with megapixels. Before you spend $1 on equipment upgrades, you need a legal foundation that protects your personal assets and establishes you as a legitimate business in the eyes of clients, venues, and the IRS. These non-gear expenses exist regardless of what camera you own. Budget for them first, then allocate remaining funds to equipment. Reversing that order is how photographers end up with $5,000 camera bags and zero liability protection. This is exactly the kind of foundational decision most photographers never see clearly. It's one of the things we systemize inside the Elite Success Accelerator, making sure the business side supports the creative side instead of working against it. But for now, let's keep going. Business registration costs vary by state. Some states allow you to form an LLC for as little as $40, others add mandatory ongoing costs. In California, for example, there's an $800 annual franchise tax that applies even if you make no profit. That distinction matters when you are budgeting your first year. A sole proprietorship costs nothing extra to establish because it is the default structure when you accept money for photography without registering as another entity. But that $0 price tag comes with unlimited personal liability. If a client sues you or you face a contract dispute, your personal savings, your car, and potentially your home are all exposed. Beyond formation costs, most cities and counties require a general business license to operate legally. Operating without one creates consequences beyond fines. If a client refuses to pay and you have no business license, you may have no legal standing to pursue the debt in small claims court. For legal setup, you should budget for your LLC formation fee based on your state. An annual business license that usually falls between $50 and $200. DBA registration if you are using a studio name. General liability insurance covers third-party bodily injury and property damage caused by you or your equipment. If a guest trips over your tripod or your light stand damages a venue wall, this policy responds. Many wedding venues require vendors to provide proof of at least $1 million in coverage before allowing them to work on site. Without it, you may be locked out of premium venues entirely. Equipment insurance, often called inland marine coverage, protects your gear against theft or damage while in transit or on location. Your homeowners or renters insurance almost certainly excludes business equipment or limits coverage to a few $100s. That will not replace a stolen camera bag. Professional liability insurance covers legal costs if a client sues for negligence related to your services. This includes scenarios like losing image files, failing to deliver agreed upon photos, or missing critical moments at an event. Even when a lawsuit lacks merit, the defense cost alone can be devastating without coverage. As a rough guide, general liability insurance typically costs $300 to $600 per year. Equipment coverage is usually 1 to 3% of your total gear value. Professional liability insurance often falls between $200 and $500 annually and is frequently bundled with general liability. Now let's talk about gear, because this is where most photographers get distracted. Gear questions dominate photography forums, but they are often the wrong questions. The camera matters far less than your understanding of light, composition, and your business systems. Clients judge quality based on how images look and feel, not on sensor size. That said, some baseline requirements exist. The goal is identifying the minimum viable gear investment that allows you to deliver professional results without extending your startup budget. An entry-level full-frame professional camera body typically costs between $1,300 and $2,500. But most modern crop sensor cameras released after 2020 have more than enough resolution and ISO performance for professional web delivery and small prints. Your clients are not pixel peeping your files, they are evaluating lighting, composition, and editing style. A 50mm f1.8 lens is one of the most cost-effective professional starter lenses available. It performs well in low light, produces pleasing background separation, and forces you to learn composition by moving your feet instead of relying on zoom. A minimum viable kit includes a camera body with manual controls and RAW capability, one prime lens such as a 50 or 35mm f1.8, at least 2 reliable memory cards, 4 if you are shooting events, a basic reflector for outdoor portraits, and a camera bag for transport and protection. For wedding and event photographers, dual card slots are a non-negotiable requirement. Shooting a wedding on a single card slot is a risk most experienced professionals refuse to take. If that card fails during a ceremony, there's no recovery. Most photographers today start mobile. A modern laptop like a pre-owned MacBook Pro with Apple M1 can often be found on the used market for around $500 to $700, and it's powerful enough for full photo and video editing without needing additional hardware. Buying refurbished gear from authorized dealers can reduce cost by 10 to 40% while still including a warranty. Many refurbished lenses are indistinguishable from new, and the savings are often better spent on insurance and legal setup. Renting equipment makes financial sense. For specialized gear, you only need occasionally. A 70 to 200mm f2.8 lens may cost several $1,000s to buy, but only a fraction of that to rent for a weekend. Renting also allows you to pass the cost directly to the client for specific jobs. As a rule, rent specialized gear for occasional use, rent test equipment before purchasing, and buy only when rental costs justify ownership. For critical jobs like weddings, reliability and redundancy matter more than whether the gear is rented or owned. Startup costs can get most of the attention, but ongoing expenses determine long-term viability. Monthly and annual recurring costs add up faster than most new photographers expect, and failing to factor them into pricing leads to slow financial bleeding that often goes unnoticed until it's too late. These costs exist whether you book clients or not. Understanding them fundamentally changes how you think about pricing and profitability. Most photographers rely on Adobe's photography plan, which includes Lightroom and Photoshop, for about $20 per month when billed annually. Client gallery hosting services typically ranges from free to $40 monthly. Cloud backup storage runs $10 to $20 per month, and it is not optional. Losing client images is one of the few mistakes that cannot be fixed with an apology. CRM and booking software ranges from free to around $40 per month and can automate the majority of administrative communication, including inquiries, contracts, invoices, and reminders. The time savings often justify the cost within a few bookings. Self-employment tax catches more new photographers off guard than almost any other expense. 15.3% of net earnings goes towards Social Security and Medicare. On a $50,000 profit, that represents $7,650 before income tax. Mileage, website hosting, insurance renewals, equipment maintenance, and professional development all represent ongoing annual costs that must be accounted for in your pricing. The photographers who struggle financially often price based only on their time, forgetting that every month costs money whether they book clients or not. I've seen photographers start successfully with far less than $2,000 by being strategic about what they buy, rent, and postpone. Starting lean does not mean starting unprofessionally. It means allocating limited capital to the expenses that matter most. Gear upgrades can almost always wait. Expensive CRM subscriptions can wait too. Studio space can wait, and legal protection cannot. The correct spending priority is simple. Legal setup and required business licensings come first. General liability insurance comes second. Then you need a minimum viable shooting kit, a reliable camera body, a fast prime lens, a basic on-camera flash so you can control light in real-world conditions like receptions and low-light venues. After that, a simple website and portfolio to present your work professionally. Everything else, additional lenses, gear upgrades, software subscriptions, follows only as revenue allows. Creating strong work is only one part of building a photography business. Knowing your cost matters, but what matters more is having a system that consistently brings in clients so income can always cover those costs. Most photographers don't fail because their expenses are too high. They fail because their marketing is inconsistent, reactive, or completely absent, which means income is unpredictable no matter how talented they are. That's exactly why I built the Elite Success Accelerator. It's designed to help photographers move from scattered effort to a clear, repeatable system for visibility, client acquisition, and growth. You can join for free and get immediate access to the starter kit and a 7-day action plan bonus to get your marketing up and running. Link in the description. Please subscribe now so that you don't miss episode 4, where we are tackling pricing. This is where most photographers fail, not because they lack talent, but because they undercharge. We are breaking down the exact cost of doing business formula, why discounting destroys your brand, and when to raise your rates as demand increases. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.